My name is Elliot Shorey. I am 22 years old and I am registered blind or visually impaired. It depends on who you ask. So the best way to start this documentary, I believe, would be to discuss the history of my eyesight and the disease that caused my sight loss. Stargardt disease, also known as Stargardt macular dystrophy, is an inherited eye condition that infects an area of the retina called the macula. The macula is found at the centre of your retina and is where the incoming rays of light are focused. It is responsible for what you see straight in front of you. Now, when I was given the task of creating a short documentary, I spent months trying to come up with an idea. Then, back in September last year, I made a YouTube video titled, "I am blind, this is my story, spread the message." And I just stood there and struggled. And then I had to go ask for help. I felt useless. As you can see, I had reached breaking point in that video with the discrimination and just the ignorance of other people that I had been facing and dealing with, and I felt like nothing was being done, like no one cared, so I told my story. Then the comments started to roll in. Others' stories, others' pain, again and again. All these people with all their own stories, all suffering at the hands of selfish, discriminative, and ignorant people. And I know now for each person's story there are hundreds more, and that's why I'm making this documentary. This documentary is about me, it's about my struggles, and it's about what I go through. My YouTube video that I posted that I wanted loads of people to see to help spread the message was way too long. It was over an hour, so I thought this could be a great thing.
Josh, go on, Elliot! Go on! Oh, quick! Go on now! Yeah, the other one.
There are actually two things in my life that motivate me. The first thing, looking back at my achievements and accomplishments. Moments where I've overcome my eyesight and been able to say, yes, I can do it, when other people have said, no, you can't. I've climbed Mount Helvellyn, the most dangerous walk in England, one of the highest summits. I did this with my brother Jay and Josh, and it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life and one of the most dangerous, but not at any point did I not enjoy myself. I've been gorge walking, which is when you jump down rapids off of waterfalls. I didn't know what I was jumping into a lot of the time, but it was exhilarating. When I'm having a hard time, I think about those things. I think about what I've done and how far I've come. The college that I chose was far away from home. It was actually nowhere near where I lived. I had to get 2 different trains, and this is what gave me the confidence to be who I am today, pushing myself out of my comfort zone because I wanted to prove to people that I could be independent, that I would not let my eyesight stop me. One of my biggest motivations in life is looking back at my life and telling myself that I will not let my eyesight stop me from living. My second influence is my older brother Josh. So why my brother Josh out of all of my brothers? Out of all of us, Josh is the strongest, the bravest, and definitely the funniest.
Hello lady, how you doing there? My name's Joshua. Very fond of him.
My brother Josh is the reason I love film so much. Now, I have always loved watching films ever since I was 2, watching Chitty Chitty Bang Bang on repeat. But it is Josh who taught me to respect film, to look at it more like art rather than just entertainment. My favourite film to this day is still Prisoners by Denis Villeneuve, which is literally right here behind me. It's a film Josh put on for me and my family to watch, and ever since, nothing I've watched has topped it. Mine and Josh's thing was stories. Whether it was making short films or talking about book ideas outside our parents' pet shop when it was raining, packing the stuff away. My very first set of short films were developed because of Josh. When me and my younger brother Jack were playing in a trench my dad had built for us one year, Josh decided to film us, and thus Battleground was born, and my love for filmmaking. 3 years ago, my brother was diagnosed with a disease called lymphoma, which is a type of cancer. Lymphoma is a type of blood cancer that attacks your lymph nodes and your glands. I'm not going to go into too much detail on everything, but it required chemotherapy. The stage The cancer was at when we caught it was around stage 4. It was all over my brother. Back in 2018, this was obviously a terrifying time for me and my family. He was diagnosed in December of that year, and in early 2019 he began chemotherapy. At the end of 2019, Josh successfully finished his chemotherapy, getting rid of the cancer, and now is in remission for the next 4 years. But Josh getting cancer isn't the reason he's my biggest motivation. It's the way he handled it. He got up every day and kicked its ass. Josh would go to his chemo sessions every 2 weeks, and then afterwards he'd go straight back to work. That willpower and that amount of strength is nothing but inspirational. Just in case you don't know what that entails, this is what chemotherapy is. Chemotherapy is a cancer treatment where medicine is used to help kill cancer cells. And it's not a nice process. If anyone knows anyone who's gone through chemo or has gone through chemo, you know what it entails. Knowing that my brother Josh can do that means that I can achieve anything, and I tell myself that every day, and that's what keeps me going forward. Even before Josh was diagnosed, he was a massive motivator, not only to me, but also to my younger brother. Josh always pushes us to be the best part of ourselves, to try harder and never give up. Josh used to look after us when our parents sometimes couldn't. He would entertain us for the whole day, and he always believed in us. I couldn't ask for a more amazing brother. So this segment is going to be a bit shorter. First, buses and public transport in general. Don't get me wrong, trains can be an absolute nightmare for me sometimes, but overall the people are much nicer to talk to and definitely more understanding. I don't have time to tell you how many arguments and discussions I've had with bus drivers, or the amount of times they've questioned my eyesight, whether they believe that I'm actually telling the truth or not. You see, for me it's basically impossible to see the bus numbers, so I'm left with having to get on the bus and ask if it's my number. The amount of times I've had to make a joke about being blind or asking if you're blind or something, the number's right up there, is absolutely disgusting. Honestly, I'm sick of giving people passes. It's not okay to say that to anyone, it's not okay to make your passengers feel stupid or uncomfortable, and it's not okay to question my eyesight. Much to many people's belief, not all blind people are completely blind. Most blind people or visually impaired people actually have some kind of vision, albeit it might not be very good, but they'll have something. If I want to go shopping, I can't go alone. I can't use the self-serve machines. They're impossible for me to see. So when I go shopping, I prefer to go with my girlfriend because it just makes my life so much easier. Paying for things with cash or card, I can't do it. All these different card machines have different size numbers. Contactless was the best invention for a blind person. It makes everything so much easier. ATMs are another problem. Same thing with the whole card, having to plug it in. I can't use ATMs. I can't see what the screen says. These are all things in life that people find normal, mundane, easy. And for me, they're some of the biggest challenges. They're the things that I can lose sleep over. They're the things that I stress about. Now finally, for the interviews. For this documentary, I've collected a bunch of interviews from my mother and my dad, my brother Josh, and my girlfriend. What's it like having a blind brother?
I think it comes in different stages. I think day to day, it doesn't really have any sort of impact on me. If we're, I don't know, out and we're going for like a walk or whatever, I'll subconsciously sort of point out objects, whether that could be a curb or something that you might need to be aware of. I think a lot of that's just subconscious now.
I'm very excited to go to Disneyland so we can skip the queues. It's an advantage. Your eyes can have advantages as well as disadvantages. It just kind of means you just have to care a bit more, if that makes sense. Something small, like when we go to the cinema, we sit at the front rather than at the back.
Heartbreaking.
Very difficult because everything to get for Elliot has had to be fought for. Reams and reams of paperwork and red tape, nothing's easy. Over the years, it's been very hard to see your son not being able to do things that our other 4 boys do. And Elliot's had a good go at doing it, but everything's been hard for him.
It's only just small things, and I think to make those small changes, you have to care enough. Reading subtitles out is like, at first I couldn't remember it all the time, and I used to feel really bad.
Instead of just sitting down and accepting sort of, not as such defeat, but accepting that things may be a bit harder, you've sort of worked harder, and because you're passionate about it, your vision hasn't stopped that. And I think that's something that I'm quite proud of, that is, no matter what, as long as you believe in it and you put the effort in, anything is still sort of achievable in certain ways.
You just treat people the same, and then you just take into consideration anything that might make things a little harder for them.
It hasn't stopped him in finding a girlfriend, climbing mountains, going to university, driving cars, which you should do, travelling to different countries on his own. So nothing stopped him.
It's just, he's got something extra special about him.
My final note would be blind people should be treated a lot better than they are. Without the charities, blind people would be forgotten. And I hope that changes. But one thing I will say, he's got all brothers who will always be there for him. And that's the most important thing.
I think I'd end it on just keep striving, you know. Just I imagine right now that you're like on a staircase, and I'd probably say that you're like on the third or fourth step on that staircase, and you're not looking back. You continue to keep climbing. You know, finishing uni is just another step on that staircase that's going to lead you to where you want to end up. Or on that staircase and you're climbing up in the right direction, you're not going down backwards, you're going forwards. And I think that's the main thing that you're doing. And I think that's the way to do it, that you're just on a staircase and you're just getting started.